Hello and welcome to the Fourth Wall Podcast. I am your co-host, Matthew Calhoun. Please check us out at our website at www.thefourthwall.co and please enjoy the podcast.
Are you not entertained?
Great Scott. You're a wizard, Harry.
What a strong wizard. This is Peppy. All barrel roll. Fire barrel roll.
I am the Super Saiyan Son Goku.
It's me, Mario.
Stop, would you kindly?
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fourth Wall. I'm your host, Matthew Calhoun. Joined alongside me is Matthew Parker.
The other Matt.
So it's Matt and Matt again. Back for trouble.
I sometimes go by El Matador.
If you didn't know. We are going to be doing an artist breakdown today. Our artist today is Lecrae. Sorry for that. Is actually Lecrae, though.
Which is French for the crazy.
I don't think it's French for the crazy, but if any.
It could be.
It could be. So, to start off the discussion, Lecrae started back in 2004. He came out with his first album, Real Talk. And then after that, went and did After the Music Stops, Rebel, Rehab the Overdose, Gravity, Church Clothes 2, which he kind of came out with like a mixtape at one point, Church Clothes. And then he just came out with Anomaly, yeah. Which has been his newest thing that he has done and is currently, I guess, now promoting. General thoughts on
General thoughts. Okay.
On Lecrae starting out.
When my wife first introduced me to his music, she wasn't my wife at the time, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been about a minute or two.
I was actually quoting Olin Rogers where he's like, "It's been a while. It's been a while." But anyways,
it has been a while. But the concept of Christian rap, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, he's probably just a rapper that calls himself Christian.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like a lot of people do. It's the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And then I actually heard some of his lyrics, and I was like, okay, you know, he's got some really deep, meaningful, powerful lyrics. And then I thought, well, he's probably not like that in person.
Yeah.
But I've seen him in concert twice.
Mm-hmm.
He really is like that. You know, he really is too legit to quit.
Very adamant about what he does and the way that he approaches life, I think, also is also a big deal for him. And, I think that he's one of the people that definitely right now is speaking to, I think, a lot younger generation. And he himself is breaking a lot of barriers with the work that he's doing. Not only as a Christian, but also as just like an artist in the way that he talks about stuff. So like,
there's a lot of heart behind what he says, and like all the stories he talks about in his songs, they're all true.
So like in this song called "Praying for You," which is a great song. Check it out. He talks about there's this friend that he knows, and it always for me it always reminded me of a friend that I had. And I'm sure like that many Christians can relate to this. That there's this friend that's going through this stuff and is is slowly decaying in his relationship with the Lord and is just really having a hard time in life. And I think that like he brought it in such a kind of clear way for not only Christians to grab a hold of, but for other people to see.
Yeah, it was very open and honest.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna talk about the end of the song, but it was very open and honest about kind of what we see in people and what we see in ourselves, and like just the. Well, I'm gonna ruin the song, or I won't ruin the song, but like
you've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned.
If you haven't heard the song, go listen to it.
Yeah,
pause it right now
and go listen.
Listen to the song on YouTube,
and then come back.
Okay, we'll wait.
Yeah, definitely. And you're back. So, but it's so whenever he finally reveals that the person I'm really praying about is me, that's like I don't know, whenever
that
like,
hit me.
Yeah, whenever, especially like when we talk about how art affects us and how we go about like movies affecting us and games and music and stuff like that. Like that, I think is just something like really personable because of like as a Christian myself, like the things that I daily struggle with and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and like to reflect. Whenever an artist can make you reflect on the way that you live your life,
Yeah.
or the way that you see somebody else, that I think is a big deal, whether it's Christian or
Right,
not.
and it's that song in particular is very relatable because we've all felt that way about somebody else.
Yeah.
But then at the end, when he reveals, no, the person I'm praying for is me, we've all felt that too.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've all wanted people to be praying for us
Mm-hmm.
the way that he says that he's praying for his friend.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it really gets a lot of conversation started about, well, I am struggling with this, just like the song says.
Yeah, and I think, the way that he's been able to attack kind of the stereotypes of what a rapper should promote and stuff like that, I think that is really positive in this world. We live, I think, we just live in a time where, like, a lot of what's put on blast sometimes is, like, kind of the same thing. And so, and he's able to, like, be very diverse in the way that he approaches things and, like, the beats that he comes up with and the music that, he's able to produce in his studio is very different, I would say, from the cultural norm and all that stuff. And it's very different, especially now with his new album. It's very,
Right.
He's got a lot of varied voices and different opinions and beats and instruments that are in his songs.
Yeah.
And it's just like this new side of Lecrae that we continually get to see is like this ever-changing, ever-growing side of who he is.
Yeah.
And the gospel that he is trying to preach. And that in itself, I think, is awesome.
He's, I think I heard him say one time that he does get to go on tour with a lot of rappers that aren't Christian.
Yeah.
And, he's not always the most popular one there.
Mm-hmm.
But even while he's there, he's preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
He's putting it out there. Some people may not respond. Some people may actually respond poorly or badly.
Yeah.
But he's putting it out there, and that's definitely not the popular thing to do.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's difficult. It's got to be difficult at times.
Well, and he's in his song, I think it's called "Just Like You." I think he's very for a rapper, and not only in the culture that he is in, and specifically targeting. He goes against the grain whenever he talks about the openness that he has with about his past when it comes to his father and the way that he dealt with growing up in the ghetto and stuff like that. And I think that a lot of people were able to relate to his music because he's so open and honest about the ways that he struggled through life and how
And in a lot of ways still struggles.
Yeah, and how a Christian, how we deal with this, how does this actually fit into like God's plan for him and in his life?
Yeah.
And that's something that he has I would say perfected the art of is being this open, honest book into where he's able to take his past and take what seems as weakness and make it into like this strength and make a beautiful song out of it.
Right.
And make it important and valued in what we listen to today.
Yeah.
He's been doing this since 2004 and kind of came out with some mixtapes here and there. Not only that, he has rustled up some feathers here and there. Also, has definitely challenged some of the status quo pro. I don't know how
Status quo.
Status quo. I would just say that because in his song "Church Clothes," if I can pick it up here real quick and look at it, he's talking about all this stuff, and he goes, "God doesn't know how broke looks. They tell me that I'm gonna reap a meal if I sell into these low crooks. Plus, I know a homegirl, a freak. Now how's she singing a solo? I walk in the church with a snapback and they tell me that's a no-no. That's backwards, and I lack words for these actors called pastors. All these folks is hypocrites, and that's why I ain't at church. Truthfully, I'm just doing me, and I don't want to face no scrutiny. As long as the church keep wilding out, I can justify all my foolish deeds. Smoking weed, pouring up, keeping that lean up in my cup. Maybe I can change the world, but this porn on my laptop got me stuck. Yeah, I know what's right from wrong, but that ain't gonna sell a song. I'd rather sell my soul than save it, if that's what make my money long. It better not be no real God, real hope with real heart, or that heals hearts. It shows me that I ain't living up to all these things that put me here for. It better not be no real church, real saints who pray hard and let me rock my snapback with the 501s and the J's on. It better not be no real folk who don't think that they better than you, straight or gay, drunk or high. They walk through the cold weather with you. No, we don't want to see that, because that might mean a life change. That might mean I'm worth more than money, car, sex, and pipe dreams. Better not be no real Jesus, real forgiveness for hurt folks. If God can take me as I am, I guess I already got on my church clothes. And I think it's lyrics like that challenge the status quo and rustle the feathers rustle the feathers. And it causes us to think about the way that we do things as in society, and the way that we view how we deal with people who are on the outside of the church, and who if you're not going to accept somebody whenever they're in their sin, then there's no point to this whole love unconditionally thing. And that's, when Lecrae goes after these topics like that, he does it in such a way where it's like he will on purposely do something to where it makes him almost look like the bad guy in a sense, but also is just tremendously challenging your views on the way that you view things. And that as an artist,
he's very good at that.
Yeah, that as an artist, I think is very just mind blowing if you think about that. That you can literally sit down in a song, and I'm going to take all these beliefs that people have in a subset or a religion or something like that, and I'm going to go by each one and talk about them, and not only just talk about them, but I'm going to challenge them in their own thinking, their own theology of what they think that their life is. And I think that in itself is a huge sit down there in the studio and do that.
The ironic thing, and maybe the hardest part about it, is the people that need to hear that probably don't listen to his music. Probably won't hear the message that he's trying to get across.
Yeah, and that I think that falls down on the way that we view his music and the way that we see his music.
Yeah.
Do we see it as just a copy out for listening to rap music, or is it actually supposed to breathe? For Christians, is it supposed to breathe life into our walk?
Right.
It seems to me like sometimes people will say that Lecrae or something like that is not exactly doing the most Christian thing or the thing, but the thing that I love about Lecrae is he will break the stereotype of what is a Christian supposed to do.
Yeah.
He's not,
which is a good thing.
Yeah. That's the thing, is he's going to be real at the end of the day, and he's going to be honest about his problems.
Yeah.
And his newest...
He's going to be himself.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And his newest album, Anomaly, which is a fantastic album. I think I know he won a Grammy for his last album before that one. But this album, I can't remember if he actually won a Grammy. I can look it up real quick. But in the song Fear, he talks about how as a boy how he was scared, how growing up he was scared, and this imagery that he uses, the language that he uses that comes in through parts of the song, and he talks about it and the way that he's able to take all this different type of things, different types of meanings, and then go even farther as to when he's as a man, and talk about I can no longer try to please everybody. I'm just going to have to be me at the end of the day. And whenever he's like, to all of my haters who think I forgot where I came from, Jesus, 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 Jesus. You know, like he's basically shouting that at the people that have said you've forgotten who you are, you don't know who you are, and you turn your back on God and all that other stuff. Like he's constantly having to challenge what other people say about him and stuff like that. And I mean, what are some of your favorite songs?
I'm not as familiar with the newer stuff, as I am with some of the older stuff. Probably my favorite still is I can't think now. Unashamed, the one that pretty much started it all for him. They have the group of guys, the 116 clique from Romans 1:16. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. Yeah, and I think it started with that song. I'm not 100% positive. Yeah, I like Fanatic. The background. I really like Walking on Water. Turnt. Yeah. That was just fun.
Yeah, that's a fun little song.
But, you know, no matter what he's talking about, I feel like the message is still the same in all his songs, in a good way. Yeah. He always brings it back to Christ and what Christ has done for him. He, you know...
Yeah, I was going to talk about his latest, a song that came out on his latest album, and it's called Nothing. And in the song, he talks about what's on the radio playing right now, and he talks about how people are, talking about these designer labels, these drugs, these alcohol, and he's like, "What are you getting out of that? You're broadcasting all these designer labels, like you're not even getting paid to like put their names in there." And then secondly, all this stuff is happening, and you're talking about sex, drugs, and money. Well, you're not talking about the bond money that people don't have whenever they get thrown into jail, whenever they do this stuff, and, right? And how everybody will tell a lie on anybody, and whenever they're in jail, and all the the stuff with the law and stuff like that, and just really challenges like just in general the radio, the way that radio has set itself up to play the most popular stuff, and how that sometimes can be a bad thing because the most popular stuff may not be the best stuff to listen to 24/7.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, it really he challenges, I think, what we listen to. As a mainstream culture. Yeah, and stuff like that.
I was going to talk about, my wife and I went and saw him in concert. Yeah. We've seen him twice. Once at Rock the Desert and once at a concert in Austin. Okay. It was Toby Mac, Skillet, Lecrae, and a couple of other bands that Capital Kings was there, stuff like that.
That sounds like an awesome concert, by the way.
It was amazing. But, at these concerts, he talks about, he shares Bible stories, but he makes it relatable. And, he does it, the Lecrae version. Yeah. Which, my wife just texted me. We've seen him 3 times. She's listening to us.
Yeah, talk.
There was a free concert in Lubbock that we saw him at.
I think I remember you telling me about that one.
Anyways, that was awkward, but it happens. He shares these Bible stories with everybody, but he says this isn't the NIV, this is the Lecrae version, and I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna do it as good as he does, but he talks. The 2 stories that he shared was Adam and Eve, and the story where Jesus meets Peter. I'm going to try to do them for you.
Okay.
All right. So, basically, God creates the world. He creates the universe. He creates everything around us. And then, he creates Adam. And he puts him in this garden, and he says, Adam says, That's what's up, God. That's what's up. And so then God creates, all the other stuff, and then finally on the last sixth day, God creates Eve, and Adam says, "Yo, that's what's up, God. That's what's up." And he does like a fist bump. Anyways, that one was not as good as I thought it was going to be. But then he tells the story of when Jesus meets Peter for the first time. And, he tells him to throw the net on the other side.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, "Dude, I'm a fisherman."
Yeah.
"Jesus, you make tables and chairs. I fish, okay? There ain't no fish out there, Jesus." And Jesus says, "Peter, what did I say?" "Throw the net on the other side of the boat." "Then throw the net on the other side of the boat." And he does, and then he pulls up all the fish, and of course Peter has that reaction. I'm not even going to try to do what he does for that, but it's really funny. But the point is that he makes it relatable to people. It's easy to read these stories on the page just in black and white.
Yeah.
And it's boring. But you put yourself in the story. You be part of the story.
Yeah.
Be part of the fourth wall, if you will. And that was corny.
That was corny, man.
But there's really a lot of deep, meaningful stories there, and he does a lot to bring those out and to flesh it out and make it relatable to the people that.
Yeah. I would also say that he has used his influence to do good, and what I mean by that is you've never heard really a scandal about him or anything like that. And one big thing that I can remember is about using his influence, because he won that Grammy, and he was selling. He really became into his own whenever he came out with that album that he won a Grammy for, which was it was Gravity, which great album for him. He after that I think I can't remember how many months later it happened, but the Baltimore stuff happened, and he traveled there and was talking with the folk there, and he was honestly having discussions with them about what was going on, and I think that was so awesome of him, and was whatever your views on that situation, he himself was, as an artist, using his influence, saying, okay, there's obviously a discussion we need to have here about police and the way that they deal with people. We need to have this discussion, and it doesn't need to just be police are good, bad guys are bad guys. It needs to be, okay, there's a flaw in the system because this has happened more than once. Yeah. And like I said, that it challenges the prerequisites of just middle day America and the way that we view just our world. And when an artist can continually do that, like I've been saying, that if we had more artists like that who were generally trying to change the world for a better place, that a lot of things would probably change in society and the way that we view things.
And not just artists, like everybody. Yeah. And I think it doesn't. You don't have to be famous to be able to make a difference. Each and every person is capable of being the change that they want to see in the world. Yeah. You know who said that? Who? Gandhi.
Exactly. Well, and it's just like that type of thing that he promotes in his music. Yes. And how brutally honest he will be with himself about the things that he struggles with. In his newest album, Anomaly, I just have been listening to it a lot. That's why I keep referencing it. But there's a song called "Welcome to America," in which he takes on these three different types of personalities, which is an immigrant, a soldier, and then I think either a drug dealer or a college kid or something like that. I'm not exactly for sure on that first one technically, but he takes these different types of walks of life and showcases like why America is now maybe not the place to be, for everybody, and why it could be so damaging actually to live here, and how we are willing to sell out into this thing of money and all this other stuff that really at the end of the day doesn't matter. It matters about helping people, and what is America doing to help people? Are they just staying in the just staying in with their heads in the sand, not helping people? And it makes a big difference. So do you have a favorite album, or do you just, would you say...
in my iTunes, I don't have complete albums. Mm-hmm. I just have random songs from a bunch of albums.
Yeah.
I just like him as an artist, As far as albums go, I only have 9 songs.
Yeah.
And I think one from each album.
If you were going to check out an album, I would say it would probably be good to check out Gravity. Gravity was a real good one. Rehab, The Overdose was also really good. And, of course, not only... they're all really good, but just...
That's true.
If you were to start with one, or just start with one and see... just to see if it was cool or not. Where do you see the future and with Lecrae and where he is going?
Man, just more of the same, really.
Yeah.
Musically, I don't know. He seems to get along really well with other artists.
Yeah.
He's been in a Toby Mac song. He's been in a Brit Nicole song. He does a lot of collabs with a bunch of other Christian rappers as well.
And he's done some collabs with non-Christian rappers or singers.
Yeah, he was in a Family Force 5 song.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
The Lecrae button.
Yeah.
Ironically. I think he chose that one on purpose.
And he's done some freestyles and stuff like that. I know he's been on 106 in the Park. He's just done some other freestyles and other stuff with some other artists. He's definitely his motto has changed about how he's different. He's not just saying I'm different. He's saying like we are in fact the same person. I just believe this certain way, but I can still do this medium.
Right.
I can just do it to worship my God and my religion. And that's made such an impact on the way that people view him, and I think that he's being very taken very seriously, and will be continued to be taken more seriously as time goes on, and hip hop realizes what his message is. If I was going to say some of my favorite songs, "Fear" is one of mine. "Church Clothes" is also one of mine. "Chase That," if you ever want a song about just like your motives in life and keeping them in check and stuff like that, and how you need to just chase after things in life. There's a song he does called "Chase That." "Tell the World" is also a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's an easy song just to play anywhere.
"Jesus Music."
Yeah, that's also a really good one.
I like that one.
Now, he formed, or he didn't exactly form, but he was, I would say, one of the founding members of the 116 group.
Yeah.
Which we haven't really touched on here. So, it was a group of rappers, that Christian rappers that got together and did an album. And really, I think, pushed the boundaries on what... it was very, very clear about the message that they wanted to send, which was... Yeah. I think they're pretty much their signature song was "Man Up," and how a man should be viewed, how man is viewed right now in society, how he should be viewed, and what are things that need to change. Do you need to drink that next bottle of wine? Do you need to actually take that next step that's going to hurt your family, or do you turn away from that? Do you do something different? How do you go about becoming a man and stuff like. And that's all that stuff that they all addressed about in that album and what they came out with, and it was great. It worked perfectly, I think, for what they're going for. If you want to know just kind of a little bit or about like the people that he hangs around, Andy Minnow is definitely another good source. They're always usually kind of they're under the same label, so that's why they're always kind of together and stuff like that. But Lecrae, he's got, I think, a bright future ahead of him.
Definitely.
He's been an influencer in the things that have made this culture. He doesn't, I don't think, really hold anything back. I think he chooses his words, though. Would you say that you're excited to see more?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
He's great in concert, too. He's so energetic. Mm-hmm. It's usually just him and one other guy that's up on stage, but they're jumping around. They're throwing their fists in the air.
Yeah, that's what, like, every picture I've seen of him at a concert is just, like, him jumping or flexing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
He's ripped.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I follow him on Facebook. He's always posting videos of him after a workout, and he's like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
But he's funny, though. Like, in his concerts, he shares a lot of serious things. He shares some Bible stories, but he also, like, he's so energetic. He's funny. Yeah. It's just an all-around good time.
Definitely. Alrighty, guys. So tell us what you think of Lecrae. Tell us what you think of this podcast episode. Also, just share us if you would, please. Check us out at our website at www.thefourthwall.co.
With a 4.
With a 4. Not spelled out fourth. Please give us a share, give us a like, subscribe to us. Let us know what you think of this podcast and our website. Email us. You can email us. Our email is on the website there. And just have a good day, guys.